Welcome back to Watchers on the Couch. Today we are discussing episodes 3 and 4 of the HBO original series. It's not actually original, it's an adaptation of a video game, but it's only on HBO, which makes it an HBO original. Either way, the show's called The Last of Us. Episode 3 is called Long, Long Time. And episode 4 is called Please Hold to My Hand. Speaking of holding, hold on to your seats, because this might be a rough episode. We're a little underprepared because I've been sick. But we're going to struggle through the best we can anyway. By the way, I'm Tim.
And I am Mike.
Oh, Mike. I'm in rare form right now. I have so much medicine head sinus congestion going on that I am loopy as fuck.
Good. It'll make for a great episode.
Yeah. So at any rate, if you're new to Watchers on the Couch, boy, I'm sorry, this is your first fucking episode. What Mike and I do, we give our initial thoughts for what we've seen the past couple weeks, and then we get down into our recaps and discuss the show. So in the first half of the episode, we will, of course, talk about episode 3, Long, Long Time. And in the second part, we will talk about episode 4, Hold On to, Won't You Hold My, whatever the Hootie and the Blowfish song is. That's not what it is. It's Please Hold to My Hand.
Hold my hand. Hold you hold my hand.
It's a me, Hootie. Yeah, so for our initial thoughts, on a scale, Mike, of Magic Mushroom or Shiitake, episodes 3 and 4, where are you at?
Episode 3 is a Magic Mushroom for show. But episode 4, I was a little underwhelmed. I felt like, I don't know, it wasn't bad. I would say it's more like a mushroom pizza. You know, like it's pizza, so it's like good, but there's better pizza out there, you know? So, but like just felt like another zombie apocalypse type of episode, and some tropes here and there, or like if I've never seen a zombie apocalypse thing or an apocalypse movie or show at all, you know, I would have been more entertained, but I've kind of seen that story before.
Yeah, this feels very much like Walking Dead. Once the zombies aren't a threat, we're just going to deal with humans. The episode 4 one. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, but yeah, for me, episode 3, I said Magic Mushroom tip for sure. It wasn't until about like 25 minutes in when I realized, this is very Bill and Frank centric, and we aren't going to see much Joel and Ellie in here at all.
Yeah. I generally don't kind of like episodes like that. It was half a bottle episode in a sense. But their performances were just so good. Like it was a really great episode. I mean, I was tearing up throughout, and it was really good.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, so I still really like the episode. I know exactly and I was worried, Mike, that you were going to say you didn't like the episode because, like, how about the fucking plot, man?
I was going to say, like, with the bottle episode, I'm like, yeah, but I'm kind of missing out on, like, the main plot. I'm like, let's go! Get on with it! You know? And then episode 4, I'm like, I guess we are moving along, but...
Could we have kept Bill and Frank alive a little longer, please?
Yeah.
More of that. Yeah, because the episode 3 feels completely out of place in the series. But at the same time, I kind of like that. We don't advance the plot, but then the plot's basically just get Ellie to point B, and point B keeps moving. So it's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, the episode was really well written, really well acted. It was heartwarming. It was funny. It was suspenseful. It was sad. I mean, I'd probably tell people that they should watch at least that episode if they're on the fence about watching the show, because even though, it doesn't have a lot to do with the overall story, it's a really good self-contained story and just great television. I mean, it's so good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
It's the best episode of the series so far, and it hardly has the main characters in it.
Yeah, right.
Episode 4, I still put it on the Magic Mushroom because I like everything with Joel and Ellie. I like the banter and the relationship that they're starting to develop. But the one thing I don't really care about are these other people, like humanizing whoever this villain woman. I forgot to even write down her name. So yeah, just so you know, I don't have for the listener, I don't have show notes for episode 4. We're really gonna fucking be shooting from the hip on that one. I think her name was Marilyn or something. But yeah, this making this pit stop a whole thing. I really hope it doesn't go past the next episode. Just like shoot her and get back on the road, because I don't care about anything with like I'm. This is going to be like a Walking Dead governor situation where she's like a main antagonist that we have to fucking deal with for an extended period of time, because that's the self-contained episode I don't want. Is the governor this governor episode.
I don't think. Well, I could be wrong about this, but I listened to a couple other podcasts, and I think that group might be a group that is going to be more in next season or something like that.
Okay.
Or was in like the second game.
Okay.
But I'm not exactly sure. So it almost seems like, they're going to get some help getting out, looking at the end of the episode of episode 4.
Okay.
And maybe they'll get out and move along and have 2 more companions.
Here's hoping. Well, I don't care if they have 2 more. If they have 2 more companions, they're just going to get eaten. So,
yeah. Or they'll probably at least have one, and, because obviously one has to die.
Yeah. So let's get into our recap of episode 3, long time. We open up with a scene that makes me long for the return of the Chris Nays Minute, Mike. We see Joel down by the creek, walking on stacking river rocks. And as soon as we saw it, Sarah and I both said, man, fucking Chris would just kick those over. He's got to be angry if he's watching this show right now.
They're going to fall over anyway. If you're going to stack those, you got to stack them out of the river. If that river gets a little high, if there's a strong rain, strong rainy season, they're just going to wash over.
Back at camp, or whatever camp is, Ellie basically tells Joel not to blame her for Tessa's death. She's like, hey, you're 2 fucking grown-ups and no one made you take me, so don't blame me for something that's not my fault. And
yeah, she has a great point.
Yeah, and then Joel shoots her, and, and that's the end of the series. No, they continue.
A little nod.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're good.
You're right. Then they continue on hiking. I like how she's fucking Grogu. It's like everything is fucking Pedro Pascal. It's like he's typecast to always have like a little sidekick.
That's awesome.
So for all we know, Grogu's saying fuck a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Ellie is like the special little kid, like, just like Grogu is. She has magic powers, against the fungus.
So they continue hiking towards Bill and Frank's place, and Ellie's asking him a bunch of questions, like, hey, what's up with that scar on your forehead? Somebody shot me. Didn't shoot me good enough.
I smell flashback.
Yeah. Joel takes her to the remains of some old store where he stashed some stuff, explaining they stash stuff in case they ever find themselves out of supplies.
I need to get my stash. I need to get my smoke on.
So while he's looking for his stuff, because he can't find his stuff because he's an old man and his memory's shot, Ellie wanders off into the basement and finds some tampons, which is always a good thing to have and very necessary. Also good for bullet wounds, Mike.
Man, that would really suck, though. Somebody that is new, a new thing I haven't seen in an apocalypse show. Not having tampons or pads. Mm-hmm. That'd be awful.
Nobody brings it up. Yeah.
No. Because it's grody.
People having fungus explode out of their face, but don't talk about things that actually happen.
Right.
To every woman once a month. We can't handle that.
So many women watching like this show, they're like, finally! Somebody said it.
While she's down there, she also finds an infected. Doesn't seem to be a full clicker yet because half of his head is in a goddamn mushroom. But
she cuts it open a little bit, sticks a tampon in there. So take that.
I guess she's deciding to see if she's capable of killing one because she asked Joel last episode, in regards to this one last episode, in the previous episode, if it bothers Joel, like killing them because they used to be people once, but she gives this one a little nick and it doesn't bleed. You just see some fungi If it bleeds, we can kill it. And if it doesn't bleed, we can also kill it. So she goes ahead and stabs it.
Stab.
As they continue on their way, they passed a down jet. Ellie's envious of Joel going up in one. Joel said didn't feel that lucky at the time, which I feel Joel's pain on that. I hate flying. But mainly Joel explains a little more about his understanding of the outbreak, how cordyceps mutated, got into the food supply, probably through flour or sugar, spread across the country in things like bread, cereal, pancake mix, which pancake mix maybe, but even if the fungus evolved to survive the temperatures of the human body, I don't think it could survive being fucking baked as bread as cereal or cereal. But
you would think, but
I don't know. I'm not an expert, and neither is Joel. But I don't know. All I'm saying is there's a big difference between 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit and 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we basically learned that, yeah, Joel was saved by Dr. Atkins while everyone else was eating fungus, getting sick, biting other people. Friday, September 26, 2003, the day the music died. And by Monday, everything was gone.
One was smooching, and that's why the world ended.
Then they come across this mass grave, and Joel explains that after the outbreak, soldiers went through to evacuate small towns, tell them they're going to a QZ. But apparently, if there wasn't room at the QZ, they just apparently offed you because dead people can't be infected.
Mm-hmm.
So then,
hey, we're just going to send you to the shower.
So then we focus on a baby skull as we flash back to 2003 when that baby was still alive and with its mommy as the soldiers are going down, rounding up the people and getting them out of there to put them in a mass grave.
When it switched to that flashback, I'm like, God damn it. I don't need to see like this. I don't need to see like them rounding people up and fucking burning them or whatever they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it switched to like, Frank, and I'm like,
yeah, then we don't.
I like this. All right, cool.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is going well.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a real good job on this one because, I don't need that much of a fucking downer. But yeah, we're introduced to Bill. Bill's hiding out in his basement, in a basement underneath his basement, watching soldiers walk through his house. And this is Bill. And Bill has been preparing for this day for a long time. And they clear out, and he comes up with his mask on, so he doesn't breathe in the disease because he wouldn't know at this point that it's a fungus. And he starts living out his last man on earth fantasy as he runs around looting Home Depot, getting wine, all sorts of goodies, making some traps, lives his life for about a good 4 years. Man, Mike, what would you do with all that time?
Probably basically the same that he did. I would hope so, at least, that I'd be preparing, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. That's a really long time to be by yourself.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah. What would you do?
Die.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't have a basement under my basement. I'm not prepper material.
No, survivalist Tim. He's not a prepper. He's a survivalist.
Yeah, I'm not a survivalist either. But I feel like if you're a fat survivalist, you're not much of a survivalist. Because it's like you gotta keep your health up too. Otherwise,
well, there could be a balance, because if you don't have food, well, I got all this food on my body.
You need stored fat. Yeah, that's a good point. But so about 4 years later, a non-infected fellow by the name of Frank plops into one of his holes. Like up till now, Bill's just been eating meat where I have no idea where he's getting it from, drinking wine, watching infected get their heads blown off, walking through his traps, which, yeah, that's a good watch. But at the same time, where are you getting that meat from?
This is definitely foreshadowing too. Frank falling into Bill's hole.
Oh.
He's like, are you armed down there? It's like, yeah, I got these 2 guns. Yeah. I got my love gun too.
So, yeah, Frank falls into this hole. Bill gets him out after Frank shows that he isn't infected and tries to get Frank on his way. He's like, hey, man, fucking Boston's that way. But Frank says, man, I'm really hungry. And Bill says, if I feed you, then every bum you talk about is going to show up here looking for a free lunch. And this is not an Arby's. Frank said,
Arby's wasn't free.
yeah, Arby's didn't have free lunch. It was a restaurant, which is probably one of the best lines. That's like one of the best exchanges I think I've heard in the show. For some reason, that just really tickles me.
They definitely spent Arby's money well. Arby's sponsorship money well.
Yeah.
Because Arby's shows up in the next episode as well.
Oh, like do they?
Well, it's a sign. They have a sign below the love sign. You remember seeing like the loves?
I remember seeing the loves, sign? And I was like, "Oh no, not loves!"
Right below it is an Arby's sign. So,
oh, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, but he's like, "I won't say anything to bums, but I hear like even though you're not an Arby's, you have the meats." So, in the end, Bill ends up hosting Frank for dinner, and Frank is pretty impressed. And Bill's like, I know I don't seem the type to pair this wine with this rabbit. And Frank's like, no, you do. I was like, what? No, you seem just that type of guy. Yeah. My radar's going off.
Yeah.
So anyway, before Frank leaves, he has to see the piano in the other room and starts to play some Linda Ronstadt. And he's not great. Frank's not great. But to be fair, Frank's at least 4 years out of practice at this point.
Right.
And Bill's like, no, not this song. And then Frank asks Bill to play it, and Bill plays it, and there's some feeling behind the singing and the playing. Frank asks who the girl is. Bill says, there is no girl. There is no ghoul. There is no girl. And Frank pulls a Han Solo and says, I know. And then there's smoochies.
Smoochies.
Yeah.
Manly men smoochies.
The first, possibly the first non-fungus smoochies we've seen in this show.
Yeah. So, for a split second, in my mind, I was a little negative about it. And I was like, what? Come on. Like, what are the fucking odds, that two gay men, like, find each other like this? And then, I mean, it was like, yeah, what are the fucking odds? Especially after, like, after Frank told Bill to go take a shower, he's like, go take a shower, Bill. And they were crying after he was kissing him. And then he sat down on the piano stool. And like, I think he had kind of had that same feeling like, holy shit, like what are the fucking odds? Like, this is fucking crazy. This is happening. And I was like, yeah. So, yeah. And I'm sure also there was a bunch of people that probably turned it off. Probably, the fucking liberal Hollywood.
This
always trying to add in the
how dare they put two beautiful men smooching and getting naked and wrestling around, making me uncomfortable.
Oh, tickling myself in my crotch. I got this weird feeling. I don't understand it.
How did they know that my fantasy is to be the last man on earth and all I do is find other men and take them to my bunker and they go into my bunker?
Man, Frank's in good shape. Like, saw him,
he's been walking.
His shirt off. like, I was like, I don't know. Maybe
that's Bill's problem. Bill hasn't been walking around after QZ gets demolished.
You even seen Bill get out of the shower? I'm like, yeah, all right. Come here, big burly man.
You ever see a fat apostle? So we flash forward a few years, and Bill and Frank are living together. Mass hysteria.
Hold on. Wow.
Did I skip ahead a lot?
Yeah, dude, they totally do it.
Well, we already said that. Didn't we already say
Frank
that?
I thought it was silly that Frank's like, I'm not a whore. I don't just have sex for a lunch. I have sex for 3 lunches at least.
yeah. I'm going to say for a few more days.
I'm a medium expensive whore. So then,
I'm just thinking, like,
Frank
nobody
goes down on him, and Bill's like, "Ooh, Frank, suck my beans." Frank and beans.
Bill's like, I want all the bacon and eggs that you have.
Yeah.
The shit, I totally lost my train of thought.
We skipped ahead. We just skipping ahead a few years.
Yeah, I know, but I was going back to the other part. That's all right. Fuck it. Yeah, so Frank and Bill are living together, and Frank storms out because he wants to fix up Billville a little bit. And we get this whole thing. You live in a psycho bunker where 9/11 was an inside job and the government are all Nazis. Bill goes, the government are all Nazis. And Frank like, well, yeah, now, but not then.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, man. But Frank says that he wants to take care of the neighborhood because showing attention to things is how we show love. Frank's like, yeah, we're going to fix this up. We're going to have some friends. And I've been talking to a nice lady. Yeah, I've been talking to a nice lady on the radio.
What?
Like there, and Bill's like, if there was talk radio, Rush Limbaugh'd be on it, and he'd be over here for dinner. Because Rush Limbaugh's still alive in that time period too, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Presumably, if he didn't die.
Rush Limbaugh and John Madden.
Teaming up. We'll see him next episode.
So it turns out that it's Tess that Frank's been talking to. So the next we see Joel and Tess are in Billville having a meal. Tess is excited about working with Bill and Frank and doing some trading. Bill and Joel, meanwhile, have some tough guy talk. And Joel warns Bill that while he's too remote to have to worry about infected, which infected have been showing up, so I don't know where that came from, but I guess a swarm of infected. Yeah. Or like a colony. Raiders are another story, and they'll be coming. And
looking for the Ark.
Yeah. And Tess and Frank work out the radio music code thingy in the meantime. And then we jump another 3 years. Frank got his way. Frank and Bill are jogging. And Frank surprises Bill with a small plot of strawberries that came from Frank trading one of Bill's guns for seeds.
Yeah, Bill takes a bite and starts giggling like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah, man, they haven't. Yeah, man, they enjoy it. They haven't had a strawberry in 10 years at this point.
I'd probably do the same thing. Come by fresh fruit if you're not growing it. Ooh,
yeah, man,
that'd be a fucking treat.
Yeah, man, a good strawberry. I mean, unless you're allergic, in which case I feel bad for you, but fuck. Bill apologizes for getting older faster than Frank. Bill seemed like he was about to have a heart attack on the jog. And Frank says, I like you older. Older means we're still here. But the Raider warning comes true. Frank wakes up to the place under attack. Bill's outside shooting in the middle of the street, not in any cover, which seems batshit.
Yeah, it really kind of didn't seem like him, but then again, I don't know. I could also see him kind of doing it. Especially like being out there on his own, not wanting to get Frank involved because he doesn't want him to die. Like just with the strawberries when they were there, Bill was like, I wasn't afraid until you came along. Now he's afraid of losing him or leaving him by himself.
Bill does get shot, which is not surprising because he's out in the fucking open. And Frank gets him inside, and it seems like it's not looking good for Bill. Bill isn't going to make it. So he tells Frank to call Joel, and that Joel and Tessa look after him. But we know Bill didn't die because Joel and Ellie are on their way to Bill and Frank.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I still thought it was silly, like, because that timeline could have been a little different. I don't know. Like, they might not have known that Bill was dead, or you know what I mean? Like, and they totally played it off that Bill fucking died. Like, and then they cut, kind of went to black screen, and then no, another like 10 fucking years later.
Yeah, 10 years later,
it's just fine.
Yeah,
like, you tricked me.
Yeah, and we fade to black. It's another 10 years later, and in a twist, Bill is still upright. But poor Frank ain't. He's in a wheelchair with what I assume is some degenerative muscular disease. They don't say exactly what it is, but Frank's condition.
I assume something like MLS or something. So
Frank's condition is worsening. He took up painting at some point, but even now that's a struggle for him. So he tells Bill that today is going to be his last day on Earth.
Mm.
And Bill, of course, tries to talk him out of it, but Frank's already made up his mind. You know, there wasn't a doctor for whatever this was before everything fell apart, and there aren't apt to be any medical advances in the past 20 years on the Fedra side of things. Frank tells Bill that he wants one good last day. And they're going to go to a boutique where Frank picks out outfits for him. They're going to have a wedding ceremony. Bill's going to make
an illegal wedding ceremony.
Not in Billville.
It wasn't legal. All right.
According to who?
Then,
it wasn't legal. It's legal in Billville. Fucking states' rights.
So. Did they write down laws? Do they have a flag? No flag, no country, can't have one.
That should have been the first thing Bill did, is make a flag. It's fucking bacon and eggs. And then Bill's going to make a great meal. And then you're going to pour all of Frank's meds into a glass of wine, and Frank's going to drink it. And it's like, no, it's a way to ruin the wine. It's not going to taste good.
Yeah.
Don't you want to, like, just drink it in water and then have the wine afterwards?
Yeah, why torture yourself? Just chug it down and then have a nice drink.
Yeah. Then we get a montage of, you know, all the significant places around Billville that we saw in this episode 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
The original hole, the strawberry patch, and they have the meal. It's a flashback to the first one. He shows them the wine. They have rabbit. And then Bill brings out the after dinner wine, pours the bag of crushed pills into Frank's glass, and Frank downs it. And Bill drinks his own wine, and Frank surmises that Bill's dosed the bottle as well and has also chosen to check out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very bittersweet ending to old Bill and Frank.
Yeah. It was sad, but it was also sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would do the same thing, I think. You know, it's a fucking zombie apocalypse. And yeah, the person you've been with for 20 years and, you know, is going to be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing that Frank didn't consider is that in Bill's aging condition, it's going to be really hard to drag a corpse around and, like, dig a grave for you. And
that's why he wanted to fucking kill him. So I was like,
this is too much
God,
work.
I got to drag you all the way downstairs out of the bed.
Selfish son of a bitch.
Fuck that. I'll just, you know what? I'm just going to check out too.
So Joel and Ellie finally make it to Billville, and the flowers outside are all withered. So in terms of where we are with Joel and Ellie, Bill and Frank probably died a few weeks ago or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how long Joel and Ellie have been on the road or how long it's been since they left, but we know that based on the end of the first episode when the radio kicks on, that was Bill's automatic response that it would play if he didn't reset it every so often. So It hasn't been too long since they died. So Ellie finds the suicide note that Bill leaves to whomever, but probably Joel, who leaves Joel all his weapons and equipment and to use them to keep Tess safe. So Joel says, fuck, and drinks the rest of the wine. No, once again, there's no one to hand Ellie off to. Point B has moved again. So Joel decides that he's going to bring Ellie along with him. They're going to find Tommy. Maybe he'll know some fireflies to drop her off with. Ellie's looking around, sneaks a gun, puts it in her bag. Joel makes a battery for Bill's truck. And they leave Billville playing a cassette of Linda Ronstadt singing a long, long time on the radio. And that's episode 3.
Yay. I feel like they could have packed more shit in the truck. I don't think, you know, I don't know. Didn't seem like there was that much stuff that they grabbed.
They should have taken some wine.
The backseat was almost empty. Like, why would that backseat be empty? I mean, take way, way more guns and ammo and food.
Take wine. You could trade wine for something.
Dude, you can drink and drive.
Yeah, who's gonna stop you?
Yeah.
Nobody. Except for all the fucking cars on the road.
And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, like there's
died in a zombie apocalypse from drinking and driving. Good episode.
Great episode. So let's start talking about episode 4 as best we can, because I don't have notes. Please hold to my hand.
Hold my hand.
So when we start off this episode, I think Joel is siphoning gas out of tanks because all the gas is separated now. It's all bullshit. And you can only run your car on gas for a couple hours.
She's like, you don't know how the siphon works, do you? I think he was basically right. You create like a low pressure, and then eventually after it's, below the hose is below, it's like, then it becomes like kind of a gravity feed.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, that's what, but he's like, blah, blah, blah.
That's exactly what he said. Maybe that's not how it works. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to find out for next episode.
Right. We should ask ChatGPT. How the fuck does siphoning work? Yeah, Ellie begins to drop dad jokes on him from a book. And so that's fun.
Yes, this is right up our alley.
Yeah. I was like, hey, Ellie should be our third host.
Yep. When she says that, I don't remember when it was that she said the diarrhea joke, but I just recently said that joke to a guy at work because he was like, yeah, I was real sick, and those 2 days I was gone, I was like, yeah, did you have diarrhea? It's hereditary, runs in the genes.
You just said that joke?
Yeah, I did, like a couple weeks ago.
That's
or a few weeks. Maybe it was longer than a few weeks ago, but it seems very recent.
They pull off road and camp out and eat 20-year-old Chef Boyardee, which probably tastes just as good as it did 20 years ago.
She's like, that guy was good.
That's probably one of the best things that they had. They probably, like, Fedra food probably fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, probably.
Ellie wants to start a fire. Joel says no, not because of Shroombies or Fedra, but because of regular shitty fucking people. They got all sorts of plans for you other than killing.
Yeah.
They'll eat you. Not everybody's cooking rabbit.
Yeah.
They lay down to go to sleep, and Ellie's like, hey, Joel, nobody's going to find us out here, right? And Joel's like, nope. And then he's staring at the tree line. And we cut to the next morning where he's been standing guard all night.
Yeah.
Poor son of a bitch. You find out that Ellie doesn't like coffee. It smells like burnt shit.
Yeah. And his percolator, I think that was. Percolators! Yeah. Making coffee.
Yeah, Sarah has a percolator for camping. So for a while she was making the coffee in the house. And it's not as good as my coffee. I will say that. We get a lot of scenery as they make their way to Kansas. Oh. I come from a land down under where women go and men plunder. Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover. Yeah, so we have lots of scenery as they make their way to Kansas City, but the interstate is fucked. Yeah. So,
Worlds of Fun was part of that scenery, and I'll be going to Worlds of Fun a little later. That was the Mamba.
Oh, no shit, man.
Yeah.
I should have noticed that. Man, they should have gone to the Renaissance Fair while they were there.
Yeah.
Somebody's left some swords out there. If it happened on a Friday, which means they were there September on because they were open in the fall up until Columbus Day. So there would have been vendors there with swords and shit at the Renaissance Fair in Kansas City.
That'd be awesome.
You fucking heard it here first. No, but I bet there's no other podcast that's talking about Last of Us. That's talking about the fact that Kansas City Renaissance Fair and Overland Park should have fucking swords at it. in the world of The Last of Us.
Ellie finds a nudie magazine.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's like, "Why are these pages all sticky?" It's like, I'm just fucking with you.
I know why. Come. Hey, Joel, come. Yeah. Stop saying that. So, yeah, the interstate's fucked. So they take the previous off-ramp to try to cut around through the city and exit in front of the block part. Now, surely there should have been some way to just off-road it, but it's
exactly how I thought. Like, they could have easily, like, ran through one of those fences and just went right around. They could have done it. It could have happened. But not for plot purposes.
Yeah.
This is like definitely the zombie apocalypse type of thing. You got to go through the city for some weird reason. Like, there's no other way. There's no other way. We have to. I'm going to have to risk it.
You didn't even try to get into the trucks to see if you could move it.
Yeah. Well, I think that was pretty obvious. You probably couldn't move it. And there was like 2 cars blocking that truck as well. So
move them. You know. Take the parking brake off. And
yeah, that's true. I mean, you could slowly push it with your truck without
slowly push them
or tow it.
Yeah. They had options. They chose none of them.
Options.
They went through the city.
So, and I knew immediately that guy that was like, "Help me! Oh, help me!" I'm like, "Yep, I know where that's going."
Yeah, because
so did Joel.
Way. Yeah.
So
Joel's like, "Oh, I've fucking done this. This is the old help me." There's a whole fucking playbook for this.
He's like, "I used to do this all the time." That's how I got shot. So I got that scar on my head.
We get a little bit of backstory to Tommy about how Tommy's a joiner and wanted to like be a big fucking hero, join the army, things like that.
Joiner.
That's pretty much where my notes end. So yeah, we're at the point where the help me shit happens. And there's not like plot wise, there's not a whole lot to talk about. So basically what happens is, it's a trap. And these people are just keeping a lookout and they decide they're going to try to rob Joel and Ellie and get their shit. And it doesn't go quite according to plan because Joel fucking kills like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
"Oh, like a movie."
Yeah.
Like, it goes like a video game.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like, he shoots one. The other one's like, "Oh, you son of a bitch, you motherfucker. I'll get you."
Yeah. Look what you did. You shot at us for shooting you.
Yeah.
You saw bitch. Meanwhile, so then they decide to come on in and go after Joel and Ellie. Joel tells Ellie to go hide in a hole in the other room and not to come out. And some dude gets the drop on Joel and starts choking him. So Ellie gets that gun that she swiped from Bill's house, crawls out of the hole and shoots the guy in the fucking spine.
They go, I can't feel my legs.
I can't feel my legs, Joel.
Help me. Mama, help me, Mama. My legs. Do you think that guy was that lady's son? Like the lady leader's son? When he was talking about his mama?
I assume, but I don't know.
Yeah. Lieutenant Dane.
More reason I don't care about any of them then, because it's like you can fucking send your son out to like rob people, then you get shot and you're gonna get all fucking pissy about it. It's like,
Yeah, but Ellie got like all scared, you know. She was like, she'd have that reaction.
Yeah, this is the first time she's like fucking shot a guy, presumably. And
it was probably worse than if he just died immediately, you know, because he's all screaming out like, Mom, no, it's fine.
My name's Jerry, or whatever the fuck his name was. Ryan? No.
No, I don't remember.
Oh, his
Joel's
name's not
just like,
Walker.
fuck it. I'm assuming Joel stabbed him with his own knife. Because that
Yeah.
guy was like, here, take my knife. It's a good
It's
knife.
a good
I
knife.
was like, all right. Let me test it out. Stab.
We didn't know you guys would shoot us. We can trade.
Yeah. This is how we say hello.
This is how we say goodbye in Germany.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that guy got fucking killed. And Joel didn't do a very good job comforting Ellie after the fact.
Yeah.
But we find out that it's not her first time, which I don't know if that means backstory or if she's referring to the infected that she stabbed in the basement.
Yeah, see, I don't know either. I think it could go either way. We could either see a flashback or later she'll talk about it.
Now we get to... Actually, let me fucking look up her goddamn name real quick before if I'm going to talk about the rest of this episode, I at least need to get the name right.
Is it Kathleen?
Kathleen. That's it. Marilyn. What the fuck was I thinking? This is where we get some backstory into Kathleen. Apparently, Kathleen is interrogating somebody who was ratting out their neighbors to, I assume, Fedra. And she didn't take too kindly to that. There's like a few people that are like ratting out their neighbors. So she's looking, and particularly for some guy named, what was that?
Henry?
Henry. And this doctor guy who's, I delivered you. I held you in my hands and I should have drowned you. And he's not giving her anything to really work with. And that's about the time they drop off the body of this guy who got stabbed by Joel. And they're all like, hey, man, we got fucking ambushed by these mercenaries. They were loaded. They had all kinds of shit. They had Chef Boyardee. They had burnt shit. They had,
they had a ton of good shit. So, yeah.
And she's like, well, if they were mercs, then this fucking Henry guy sent them. And we've got to find Henry. We got to find these people. We got to kill them all. She walks back in. She shoots that doctor right in the fucking head. And that's, they're trying to like humanize the fact that, she's trying to have this whole community after they overthrew the QZ there. That was the thing. They overthrew the QZ and they have their own like fucking totalitarian government that they've installed instead. It's basically same shit, different day, just by civilians.
No, but it's different.
It's different. We don't have a uniform.
Yeah. And we don't have a flag. We have a no step on snack flag. That's our country.
We have this sign from the Jack Stack barbecue.
We have an Arby's sign.
I mean, the rest of it's basically we get Joel and Ellie talking a little bit. Like they're going to make their way to this big fucking building. They're going to go up a bunch of steps into this apartment building. Joel's like, where are we? Ellie's like, somewhere in the teens. And then Joel's like, okay, well, when we get to 20, tell me. I'm going to throw up. And they make it all the way up to 30 something out of 40.
Yeah, I think it's 37 or sounds right.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. Don't remember. She's like, get up, you lazy ass. He's like, I'm 56. Looks good for 56.
Yeah. Looks better than me. And I'm not 56.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he smashes their way through some apartment buildings, scatters some glass around, and is like...
Yeah, because Ellie's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
She's like, oh, I get it. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
It's like, shoot the glass. It's like,
I hope they slept with their shoes on.
Yeah.
So I think... so Joel... or Ellie says that she notices that Joel can't really hear out of his left ear that well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joel goes to sleep on his left ear. Or on his right ear. Yeah, because he turns and sleeps on his right ear. So that's why he didn't hear them. Because he's just about deaf in his left ear. Oh, Joel. Should know by now. Gotta sleep on that deaf ear.
Yeah, unless he's one of those people like me, I can only sleep on my right side.
Oh, really?
I can only fall asleep on my right side. I should put it that way. I
Yeah.
fucking toss and turn all over the place afterwards. But in order to fall asleep, I have to be on my right side. And that's something you've learned about me today. The fucking trivia game, if we ever get popular enough to be on trivia and Jeopardy, this podcaster can only sleep on his right side. Oh, that's a fucking dipshit that makes all the dick jokes on about serious TV shows.
Correct.
Yep. Who is that one asshole? Yep, we'll accept that. That's basically all that happens. Like, I think, like, I mean, I feel like, yeah, we didn't have notes, but like, not a lot really happens that we didn't hit. We weren't.
And that's why I didn't take notes on this episode.
Yeah, we weren't quite as organized about it this time around. But
yeah, but yeah, those two people. One is
Henry.
Yep, and the other, they do say the other kid's name, I think, because they're like, oh, Henry wouldn't let his,
Sam?
whatever his name, starve. That sounds right. So that must be those two, and that's what I'm thinking. That those two are going to help Joel and Ellie get out.
Yeah, it's Henry and Sam.
Okay. And then Henry and Ellie are going to fall in love.
No, she's going to kill him.
No, yeah.
She wants to feel what it's like to bludgeon a person to death with her hands.
No, she's going to kill him with laughter. She's going to kill him with fun jokes.
Let me tell you about my diarrhea joke.
And Joel knew one of the dad jokes.
Joel knew the scarecrow joke, yeah.
Yeah.
He won an award because he was outstanding in his field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he didn't know the algae brawl joke.
I didn't know the algae brawl joke.
That was a good one. I never heard that one before.
We need to get this book, Mike.
We do.
Is this a real book?
I don't know. Hey, Tim, how many tickles does it take to tickle an octopus?
10 tickles? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was going to load up my notes with a bunch of puns. I'm like, that's all right.
Yeah, you got to save it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, next episode. Oh, the one, we did miss something. While Marlene and, who's this guy's name? Perry is the guy with the gray beard. The other
while Kathleen guy. And Beardo.
Yeah. What did I say? Yeah, Kathleen and Perry. I think I want to say his name's Perry.
Sounds right.
Will Perry. No. Apparently, this guy that plays Perry in the show is the voice of Tommy in the video game. So that's fun.
I did hear this.
Unfortunately, sadly, the voice of Tess in the video game just passed away. She also played the Borg Queen in the previous season of Picard. That was a bummer.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
While they're looking for Henry and Sam, they come across the fact that there's kind of like this sinkhole in the sublevel of this building, which seems to be a sign that the fungus is coming. The fungus is among us. And where that looks, according to from what it looks like in the next one episode, that'll come to a fruition. And I'm really hoping everybody gets eaten.
I didn't even watch the next on. So I've heard of a thing called bloaters. Would that be a bloater?
Oh, I don't know.
Did you play the video game?
I did not. I don't have a PlayStation.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you did, but it was a long time ago and you don't really remember much of it. All right. Hey, you know what? I really wish there were more people like us doing this podcast. People that haven't played the video game.
Yeah. Fuck,
it really sucks. Because there's podcasts that I really like, but they all play the video game. So it's hard to get an honest opinion because they fucking are sucking this show's dick because they love the video game so much. And not that the show's bad. I haven't played the video game. I'm enjoying the show. I think it's good. But I think they're just way, way more into it just because, yes. Yep. Yes. Borg Queen. Big bucket of win.
Yep.
But yeah, they're, I don't know. Anyway, Oh, another
Why
thing.
Do you need anything?
So
Why do you need anyone
if
else?
you're a really big football fan like I am, and you're like, yay, Super Bowl.
What's
You're
football?
like, shit. Oh, man, it's going to suck, trying to watch that on Sunday night. Well, you don't have to. This next episode comes out on Friday.
What?
And then it's going to re-air. At least this is what I heard. So I did not look it up to confirm it. This is what I heard from I don't remember which podcast. I wish I did. I would say who I heard it from. But anyway, yeah. So it should come on Friday.
Well, that's something. I'm looking forward to that. Shame they don't release 2 episodes.
I wish. That'd be nice.
Just release all the episodes right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, it only has 9 episodes, Tim. So our very last one, we'll just have to cover one episode.
Just be number 9, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I say, like, release all the episodes, but I don't mean that because it makes it really hard to do the show. Because HBO relies on the water cooler show type series where you watch the show and you gotta fucking talk about it with other people. Nobody needs to fucking have a lock and key podcast.
Yeah, kind of true. I guess. Yeah, and I liked that show too.
I like the lock and key. I mean, I haven't seen all of the 3rd season, but yeah, it was fine. Mm-hmm. That youngest kid was a fucking idiot, and I kind of stopped watching because
he was. And the show did start getting a little goofy. I mean, it was already kind of silly of a show, but it just got a little more sillier.
Oh, once Sarah had started watching the 3rd season, and as soon as he got his fucking ass through that door and became a ghost, I was like, "You fucking moron! I'm done with you." And you bring back the bad guy from the last season,
right?
Fucking dipshit.
Yep. I hope you fucking stay a ghost.
Done with your ass. All right. Anyway, now apparently we do need a podcast about Lock and Key. All right. So that's actually Picard season 3 should be starting soon too. We're not going to be covering that because that is a very slow show to cover.
Just Star Trek Discovery. I have been watching, Tim, and I am in season 2 now. And so, it makes a little more sense for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So I'm like, oh, I get it now, Tim, what you were saying. You need to watch season 2. Yeah. But I also feel a little weird watching Star Trek Discovery. I'm like, how much fungus is going to be in my life right now? Because they got the mycelium network.
They have the mycelium network.
Gee, this is weird.
Jump the ship.
This is weird. So...
Oh,
man, maybe Star Trek Discovery is
ripped off Last of Us. It's like, oh, yeah, fucking mycelium network. That would be a good job for a fucking ship. Except they didn't use the mycelium network in the game.
Yeah. Maybe they created it. They went back in time and went to Earth and then, oh, whoops, we left some of this
transparent aluminum.
Yeah.
They didn't use the network in the game, though. They were spore-based in the game. They did the mycelial network for the show.
Oh, yeah.
At least that's what they said.
I don't know why I didn't even like Discovery, because I tried watching it like years ago, and then I don't know, I just for some reason wasn't into it. But now, like watching, I'm like, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, like, I mean, the first season's the worst, but like
it's a little slow. It took a little while, but I still thought it was good.
Huh?
I could do a little less with like the Klingons subtitle stuff, but it's just the way they talk is annoying. It's not so much subtitle.
Oh, Mike, that's Star Trek.
I get it. Just fucking talk.
That shit ain't new. Actually, it actually is kind of new. They don't really talk in Klingon that often in the old shows,
right?
But yeah. Anyway, whole bridge crew from the Next Generation in this season of Picard. So I am excited to see that. Anyway, nothing to do at all with The Last of Us. So I guess we can wrap it up here. So until next time, I'm Tim.
And I'm Mike.
Thanks for sticking with us for this episode. Don't get your mushroom tip bit off.
Mm-hmm.
See you in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, if you made it this far into the show, let me just say thanks. It means a lot that you take the time to listen to us goof around, and we'd love to hear from you and let us know how we're doing. Consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or wherever you leave your podcast reviews. and reach out on any of our various social media channels. Links in the description.